What's good, boys? Little trade recap for the troop. Here's the trade that we took today in case y'all fucking missed it, you lazy piece of shit. That shit was free, family. If you trade futures, we took, you could have taken the shit on ES as well. I did on Top Step. I was a little bit late on the entry on Top Step just because I didn't want to have to look at both. But I made 58% on SPY today. Very, very simple fucking trade. So let's go ahead and walk through it so you guys can kind of figure out what we were thinking, why we were thinking, why we took this trade. So understand during this time we were actually looking at two possible situations: shorts on Nvidia and longs on SPY. This is what SPY was looking like at the time. We were trying. Come on, bitch. We were actually trying to take some shorts here. I did warn you if you were in the live stream that if you were to enter shorts, which I said pretty good around here, I did say trim on the volume imbalance that is here. It's not showing right now, but there is a volume imbalance somewhere in there. But I didn't take the trade myself just because I didn't like it. To be honest with you, it just wasn't for me. Nothing I really wanted to take a risk on, right? But we did have a whole outline for what this wanted to look like if we were to take this, right? We had a whole thesis for that. But right when we saw that start to fail, what I was looking at was an entry on SPY. Don't mind this blue thing yet. We're going to get to that in a moment. So it's basically just waiting for validation, the first fair value gap with another fair value gap, which we had on a lower time frame. If you hop over to the 1 minute time frame, what you'll see is we were constantly back here trying to validate this fair value gap. We actually completely filled that fair value gap, create a new fair value gap here, another fair value gap there, well beyond our standards at that point. So I just entered off of the bullish pointer that formed right there on this counter right here. I had started queuing limit orders in here. I told chat I was queuing limit orders. I was just waiting for an additional fair value gap or another imbalance. We had a volume imbalance form. And then at this point, we were thinking, okay, well, obviously we have our bullish order block down here. We need a fair value gap outside of this order block to form. This is the bullish order block. You could also treat this as your order block, but I went ahead and just looked at it this way. At this point, what I wanted to see was a showing some amount of price willingness to stay within this range. This is between the candle close and the 50% level of the fair value gap. I wanted it to stay within this price range if we wanted to keep the contract, considering that we were risk on since we hadn't had a fair value gap form. But this bullish pointer did in fact create that fair value gap, so I was staying in this trade and we were staying within this price range. Our take profit, just so you are aware, our take profit was in multiple locations. We had a trend take profit as well as a structural EQ. If you throw a GAN box in here, schmink, we had some trims there. We also had, I believe, on the 1 minute, forget where exactly it was. The max take profit was this right here. I believe that was a source of liquidity from before. I don't remember where it was. I swear it was on here. Man, when you put it in replay mode, it gets a little bit weird, so I'm not entirely sure. But there was a zone here that we had marked out from the stream. I believe it was previous retested area, so we were trying to take profit there as well. That was our max take profit. Obviously, you could take this up to the previous day equilibrium if you'd wanted to. Remember, this is a previous day low, a sweep of previous day low, bullish order block to the upside, targeting an equilibrium. So realistically, this is the implied move from the order block to the equilibrium. This is all that we're guaranteed. And then the maximum of this move would be the previous day equilibrium, which if you look, let me put this back on regular trading hours here. If you look at that, that would be all the way up here. And we're not realistically going to be holding a trade that long, although there is inefficiency there. It's probably going to be multiple hours in order to get there. Going back to the trade here on the regular trading hours, we also had this 15-minute order block. We were kind of messing around with this fair value up there for a little bit. Price shot up through EQ, took profit on this structural equilibrium right here. This is between the swing high and the swing low. There's an additional EQ right here that we were going to stay in between. So I kind of predicted, whoops, right there. I kind of predicted price to stay in between this range for a while. As long as we stayed over this right here, we're fine. So I trimmed the contract here. And then at this point, what we're trying to make sure is we don't get a fair value gap that forms as a result of this 15-minute order block. And then we had one. It was retraced. So I was still confident in the long. Stop loss was moved to this right here, this mean threshold of that fair value gap. And then we kind of just kept going and going in this like choppy state. And then we had a good candle run. And then I ended up fully closing most of my position here. And then actually queued more orders on Top Step and then took profit on that smash of that TP right there. So it was a broken trade. We took our original entry. Limit orders were queued. It wasn't a perfect fill on this line right here. It was actually probably more like this, somewhere in there, on the 1 minute, wherever that fair value gap ended up forming. on that break of structure, holding on that bullish pointer, creating a fair value gap, holding, staying above this, filling those fair value gap, staying above the mean threshold of that fair value gap, the first fair value gap outside this order block, which would be a limiting factor, holding on EQ, trimming on EQ, entering on Top Step, selling on my live account, holding on the full take profit. Very simple execution. I just didn't want to hold up my live. It's an options play, so with options, I like to make sure that I get the bulk of the implied move, the most inefficient part of the implied move, over and done with, because I don't want theta to eat at my contracts. And the live account, I'm willing to hold that as long as I need to, which we took to our final take profit right there. So hopefully that made some sense. Obviously, this is a bullish order block, bullish trend on a bearish bias. So yeah, this just goes to show that not every setup that you outline is going to hit. This is not something we took, but this is something we were trying to take, and then as we saw this fail, we saw IWM and SPY kind of pull up, and so we took two biases on this. But I said on stream, like, this is not a good trade. I'm not going to take this. But if you do take it, trim on the volume imbalance right there, right? You could see a sweep, especially when you saw the volume come in on SPY, IWM, etc. But pretty good trading day today, 58 or 50 something, 52 or 58% on SPY, and then I made like $60 on my Top Step account. Nothing insane. I only took a single contract, so nothing crazy, but enough to get us a little bit closer to passing that account. So anyways, if you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day. God bless, boys.